Hi, and welcome back. It seems the quick, low-effort video I knocked out the other day is doing better than usual. I guess I've been trying too hard, is what YouTube is telling me. Or perhaps the message is, don't worry about quality, we just want quantity. So, sod it, here's another low-effort video where I just offer unevidenced opinions with no examples or music. So you've seen the title, Snake Oil or Not? I was going to screenshot the comment that posed this question, but it's been buried by a flood of comments under my last video, and I can't find it now. First of all, what do we actually mean by snake oil in a plugin context? Seems to me there are two different levels to a putative snake oil scam. First, I imagine it was quite likely that whatever they were selling as snake oil did not in fact come from a snake. And second, perhaps more fundamentally, even if it was genuinely an infusion of rotting rattlesnake, it would not have the medicinal effects that were promised and wouldn't miraculously cure your dropsy, whatever that was. So first of all, do analog modelled channel strips contain any actual snake? Well, they do all provide working functional EQs, compressors, gates, and so on. I've yet to try one that's actually broken in that regard. They do all function as a channel strip. Do they accurately recreate the behaviour of their analogue counterparts, might be the next question. And the answer to that is no. For example, real analogue pots, after extensive use, start to get crackly and scratchy when you turn them. Sometimes the signal kind of fades away at a certain position and you have to wiggle the knob to move the dust around and get a proper contact. I've yet to try a channel strip plugin that models this behaviour properly, or the ubiquitous sound of a dirty patch bay, for that matter. I'm being a little facetious here, obviously, but the point is we pick and choose which aspects of the analogue hardware we consider desirable and which we don't. Saturation is considered good. That's warmth. Slightly inaccurate gain and frequency values for the EQ. That's desirable too, for some reason. Noise? Sure, but let us turn it off. Scratchy, dirty pots? No thanks, we'll pass on that. So let's agree that none of them fully model every aspect of the analogue hardware, and that's a good thing. Next question, are the plugins as good as the hardware they model? I'm going to say no, they're objectively better. Obviously some will be modelled more accurately than others, but they all get pretty close to the same behaviour as the hardware, but without the undesirable aspects. You'll never have to dig out the contact cleaner for a dirty pot. You can turn off the noise if you don't want it. You can load as many instances as your CPU can handle, then freeze a bunch of them and load even more. You can drop one on a stereo channel or bus, and it will magically process stereo. You can automate any parameter, and can expect total full recall when returning to your session. And it costs a tiny fraction of the hardware as well. Honestly, we're all kind of spoilt these days. Final question then, is this genuine 100% rotten rattlesnake infusion actually going to cure my dropsy? That depends what dropsy represents in this analogy. If it's an unfinished mix that needs compression and EQ to fit together properly, then certainly that channel strip might be part of the cure, if used properly. But if the dropsy in this analogy is an inability to get a good mix with your existing tools, then no, probably not going to help at all. Unfortunately, though perhaps inevitably, much of the marketing for these plugins leans heavily into the suggestion that they will magically make your mixes better. That using their SSL modelled strip will make your mix sound like all those classic records mixed on SSL consoles. This is as ludicrous an idea as the suggestion that buying a Fender Strat will turn you into Jimi Hendrix. So choose a channel strip that you enjoy using, that helps you get your settings dialed in more quickly and easily. Or don't choose a channel strip and use separate plugins or stock plugins instead. Whatever, they're all valid choices. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I encountered a plugin that's objectively bad. Even the free ones. By contrast, some of the cheap analogue hardware I encountered back in my live sound days definitely was just bad, and always degraded whatever signal path it was inserted into. Let's imagine the worst case scenario for a channel strip plugin. The developer just grabs some standard algorithms and slaps a vintage-looking skin on it. Let's say they use the Robert Bristow Johnson filters I showed you in a recent video for the EQ section. Well, they cramp near Nyquist, but that's a smaller problem than it's often made out to be. And in every other respect, those filters are essentially perfect. They outperform analog EQs by all the usual metrics like noise floor, distortion and headroom. No doubt they could find ready-made code to drop in for a compressor section as well, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if that compressor code was perfectly functional and usable. In fact, I would be surprised if it didn't sound better than the Behringer Composer that was my first hardware compressor. You could argue that such a plugin is definitely a snake oil con, that the only modelling of the hardware was in the graphic design, and that the quality of the processing is no better than the stock tools included with the DAW. But you could also argue that such a plugin is still a perfectly usable mixing tool, capable of good results, and significantly better than the tools I first learnt on back in the day. If it's laid out in such a way that you enjoy using it more than the stock plugins, then it is genuinely better, even if it's using the same standard algorithms under the hood. Plugins are awesome, is what I'm trying to say. If the younger me from the 1990s could see how powerful the setup I'm running now is, it would blow my mind. So remember, however modest your plugin collection, your DAW is a more powerful mixing tool than any of those classic consoles ever were. Take the marketing blurb with a big pinch of salt, but also try not to lose the sense of wonder that this stuff is possible at all, and that these amazing tools are accessible to the masses in a way that was unimaginable when I started out. Before I go, I have to say I'm slightly overwhelmed by all the love and support under that last video. I can't keep up with all the comments, but thank you all, it means a lot. There were also a couple of people whose heads exploded at the mention of socialism, which is always entertaining. I'll make it really simple for those people. 20 years ago, under a centre-left Labour government, I got treatment immediately. Under a right-wing Conservative government, I had to wait over a year. Same hospital, same department, same disease. Spot the difference? That's all. Thanks for watching.